Hey guys, welcome to my 19th Python 3 tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to be introducing classes and objects in Python. And classes and objects are a very, very important part of Python and really any object-oriented language. And you can kind of think of objects, they're like Lego bricks with which every program that you make is built. And classes are used to kind of group similar things together, and then you create objects of that class, and your program kind of flows from your objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a class, just a quick class, just really quick, and then I'll explain it to you after I'm done creating it. I'll do that real quick. Oops. Alright, so what this class is it's kind of a basic student class. You can see I called it student. Now the way that you create a class is you use the class keyword, class, and then after that your class name, in which case mine is student. And then after the class name you put the colon. And then down below you put all the various methods and variables of the class that you want. And this method that I have right here, this is actually a special class method. It's called the constructor method. Now there are a couple other special class methods, and I'll get into those in later tutorials. But for right now, this one is probably the most important out of the special methods, and so I decided I should show it to you. And the way that you declare this constructor method is you use two underscores, and then init, and then two more underscores. And all special methods are declared in a similar manner. They all have these two underscores at the beginning and the end. It's just the middle here that's different. And this init stands for initialization. The reason that is because this method, this constructor method, is called when you initialize an object. It's when you create an object of the student class. Python automatically calls this method. You don't actually have to do it yourself. So let's take a look at this parameter list here. You can see I have self. Now, in all class methods, actually there are a couple exceptions, but basically in all class methods, this self is a required first parameter. You don't actually have to pass it. Python actually does it for you. What it passes here is the object itself, and then so you can use the object in your method, and I'll explain to that to you as I go on. And then after here I have name, which is going to be the name of the student. Everything after this first parameter you actually have to pass values for yourself. So then let's take a look at what's inside of this constructor method. I have self.name, self.attend, and self.grades. Basically, if you see self dot, anything that comes after that is an attribute of the object. And in this case I have three attribute variables. And an attribute is kind of like, it's a piece of information for the class, and then you can access it outside of the class if you would like. You can kind of think of attribute variables like a variable that's tied to the object, and values of attribute variables are unique to each object. So this self.name for, say, one object is different than for another object. So let me actually create objects so you can see what I mean. I'm going to create student1. This is the object name. You use the assignment operator and then the class name, which in this case is student, and then a pair of parentheses. Now, if you have a constructor method, which you will be most of the time, inside of these parentheses is where you put all your parameters. In this case, I need a name, because remember, Python passes the object for self. So name, I'm going to put Dominic. And you can't actually see that it did anything, and that's because I didn't have a print statement or anything here. But I can actually do that real quick. I can go print, hi, my name is, and then I'm going to format, I'm actually going to put a 0 in there, format self.name. Alright, now let me recreate this one right up here. Click on there, just hit enter, and it'll bring it down for you. And you can see it says, hi, my name is Dominic. And you can actually access any of these attribute variables outside of the class, like I said, And so you can do student1.name. See, it's Dominic. Student1.attend. I don't have anything for it yet, so it's 0. Or at least I haven't updated it yet. Now I can actually create more than one object, which is what you're going to be doing most of the time when you're using classes and objects. You're going to be creating a lot of objects for the same class. I mean, sometimes you'll create fewer, but sometimes you could have very, very many objects for the same class. So you can see here we got, hi, my name is Mary. And I can go student2.name is Mary, and student1.name is still Dominic. Because again, these attribute variables are unique to each object of the class. So it's going to be different for each object if you assign a different value to them, that is. For instance, right now the attend variable is going to be the same for both of them because it's both 0. So now let me expand on this student class a little bit more. I'm going to make a program, so new window, oops, not open. No, I don't. Alright, let's get this right. New window, there we go. I'm going to copy this over, actually. There's a reason I'm going all the way back and then tabbing out. It's because it gets mad at me if I don't. I'm not really sure why, but... Alright, so now I'm going to create a couple more methods for this class. So I'm going to create one, it's going to be add grade, and it's going to do just what it says. It's going to add grade, a grade to the grade list. Now remember, the self is required, and then a grade parameter that when you call the method, you input. So I'm going to get the list, which is self.grades, and then I'm going to append the grade. Now this is a lot of dotted notation. That's because this right here is one variable, one list. It's this grades list up here, and it's self.grades because it's an attribute variable of this this object. And then dot append, because append is a method of the list class, then you append this grade. And that's all I want to do for that one. And then I'm going to go def attend day self, and all this is going to do is it's basically just going to update the attend variable. Just add 1, so it's just like you attend a day of school, and then get average self. What this is going to do is it's going to get the average of all the grades. It's actually going to return it, so I need to use return so you can kind of store it in a variable, and it'll give some number back to you. Self.grades, and you haven't seen the sum function yet. Basically what it does is it takes any iterable object, for in our case this list, and then it gives you the sum divided by the length of self.grades, and that'll give you the average. Alright, so this is my basic program right now. I'm going to save it as student.py. Come up here, I'm going to go run module. Alright, I had to exit out of Python and get back into it. I cut out a little bit of video there. Some reason Python closed on me. Not really sure why. But no matter. It's all fine now. Alright, so now let me create an object of the student class. Again, I'm going to do student1 equals student. Make my student name Mike. See? Hi, my name is Mike. Alright, there you go. Now I have a student, an object of the student class. And I can call any of these methods right here. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to call attend day. I'll have them attend 1 day of school. Student1 dot, and if I just wait a second here, after this dotted notation, you can see all the attributes of this object pop up. This is all the variables and all the methods tied to it. And I want to do attend day. And it only requires the self parameter, which I don't need to pass anything for. And if I go student1.attend, you can see it's updated this attend variable and given it 1 day of school. Now what I could do is something like this. Let's say I want to have them attend 10 days of school. I could use a for loop, so I can go for x in range 1 and 11. Now this is actually only be loop through it 10 times because it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it stops once it hits 11. It doesn't actually go through. Oops, I forgot the colon. and I'm going to do student1.attend day. Alright, so now if I go student1.attend, it's now at 11 because it's added 10 because it looped through this 10 times, and each time it called the attend day method. Alright, now I'm going to add some grades so you can see that in action. I'm going to wait a second here just so you can, again, see how these. I can add grade. Let's say he got a 90. And let's add a couple more. Did really good on that one, got 100. Got an 80 on this one. Let's say 92 on this one. And then, for some reason, did really poorly, got a 50. Alright, so now I've got 5 grades, and now I want to know the average of his grades. I can actually look at his grades list, student1.grades, and I can see these 5 grades are all stored in my list. Alright, that's good. So now, if I go student1. Get average, this will actually give me his average. It'll take these 5, add them together, then divide by 5, because that's the length of the list. And you can see I get 82.4. And if you add those together and then divide by 5, you should get the same number. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. I'm going to be continuing to do more on classes because they're really, really important. I'm probably going to expand on the student class a little bit more. So if you created code for it, just make sure to keep it. If you're just following along, that'll work just fine too. You don't have to do anything. But again, this tutorial, I showed you how to create a class, how to create an object of the class. I showed you guys a couple, or how to do this constructor method here, and then a couple methods and how to use them. And remember, one really important thing is that this self parameter is required. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.